Hi, I'm Laurie Dobson, and this video is called What Can We Do? And it's following up on a YouTube video I did under my name, Laurie Dobson, a couple days ago called Where I Stand, which a lot of people listen to, and thank you for that. I'm continuing this one now, November 15th, on the island Great Cranberry, and I'm going to be talking about what I believe we can do in the face of feeling disempowered, oppressed, and frankly persecuted by all the mandates, by all the laws, by everything that's rolling out right now. And I am also talking about how I'm dealing with things that have come to me and directly with the intention to stop me from being a vocal person and speaking my truth. And I got some good comments on the last video that I did. Some people talking about some things I hadn't known about before. And since then, I've listened to Noam Chomsky and a few others talking about a man named Paulo Freire, F-R-I-E-R-E, Freire. He was a Brazilian in 1968, had a book called Pedagogy of the Oppressed, and it was put in English in 1972. Anyway, the book was talking about how, back then when people were feeling very impressed, the ways to appreciate and defend those special understanding and allowances for those who have suffered oppression and ways to empower them. And this person that said something to me talked about critical pedagogy and said that that's what I was doing. I didn't know exactly what this was, but apparently it's a thing, and it's important, I guess, to teach. That it's a fundamental part of teaching pedagogy, to be critical, to teach how to question. And I was raised that way. The teach to the test hadn't come along, sort of perversion of academia, instead of teaching people to question and understand their world and their role in it, to not to just blindly accept what the previous generations or the powered interests wanted you to sort of perpetuate and continue, and to support them in their privileged positions, but to really find your own role, your own self-role. So that's kind of stuff that I was raised with. I was on an early college path, and I guess they figured that was a good thing to teach us how to be our own, masters. And I embraced it. I thought it was the way to be as a person, to be able to question your role in life. I was a deep thinker type. I went into philosophy and all kinds of stuff, religion and everything. But I mean, ultimately, I came out as a humanist, most of all, knowing that's something we all have. We don't have to earn any special degrees or have any titles to be truly human. We just have to be brave enough to uncover where we are and who we are, and stand for it. And it gets hard sometimes. It takes courage sometimes when there's some institutions that are in the way of that, especially when it's local, and pressures to conform are high. I live on an island that has anywhere between 40 to 60, 70 even people living here year round. Another island next door is part of our 5-island township. And coming here for almost 5 years ago, was an idea that out of a town nearby, Kennebunkport, so it's not that far, but the idea that it would be wonderful to be on an island, be more of who I am as a person, to have a chance to really explore my role in the world from a place that was set apart from the mainland. Just not that you're not part of the main, no man is an island, that sort of thing, but also just to find ways to find, and this area has been known for artists and thinkers, so I thought that'd be a pretty good place to settle in and cultivate those things in my life and be more of a writer type. I am a writer. I've been a journalist for a long time, for a number of papers, and columnist and activist and community organizer and that sort of thing. I've run for office, but I've done other things as well, landscape design and so I love art and culture. Lived near New York City for a long time. So, I mean, I'm sort of been around a lot of people, Ivy Leaguers. So, coming from the point of view of being a longtime Mainer who's got a history of, indigenous occupations, farming and fishing. And yet my mom from the city, I'm kind of a mutt. So I guess I can't identify in any particular genre. I'm public school raised, but I have sensibilities that are cultivated in, Platonic ideals. So, I respond to deep thinking, but I must, and I've been around a lot of elitism, 23 years in Fairfield County, Connecticut, and the Gold Coast. There's a whole lot of mentality there that's just, there's an acceptance of entitlement to the extreme. And, so, I'm rambling, I'm sorry. But I'm trying to say that because I don't have any particular ethos to teach or to model myself and try to communicate here, I'm just trying to express how I'm responding with the big package of, soup that I am to say that it doesn't mean that I have to be silent because I'm not an expert, because I'm no one thing that I can tie to my endorsement to you of any, I'm not proselytizing you. In other words, I'm not trying to change your thinking. I'm just trying to change how you think about your thinking, because I've had to confront it too. And where I've had to do that recently is with, back in the beginning when all this mask stuff started happening, the COVID and everything, and I thought I had caught it. Early on, I was alarmed because, on an island, you don't want to not be attuned to what could happen to you because a small dip in your population and in a contained area, it's a fishbowl. You just want to be on top of things. So I was an early person about it. I was a bit alarmist about it. I was saying, selectmen, you got to get on board. Here's some 12 things I think you ought to address yourself to. And I mentioned on a video some concerns I had, and mentioned my service's name, and mentioned that I'd had a meeting, and I didn't say anything about what happened in the meeting, but that was enough to get a media policy going and to have me suspended for a month on a service that I was on full status. Rescue service as an EMT, Cranberry Islands Rescue Service by name. And the director told me later that she was compelled to suspend me because I had upset some people over on her island over there, which tends to have a kind of a competitive attitude towards our island, and it's not a necessarily friendly alliance of townships, of islands in the township of Cranberry Isles. I thought it would be when I moved here, and I found it to be different. But anyway, tribalism is strong in outposts like this. This is the way it is. But anyway, protectionism around your identity against new ideas and newcomers is also another unfortunate component of any place that is somewhat, concerned about its resources, and protection around proprietary interests, like, where's the town office going to go? Well, over there. Where's the school's going to go? Well, we have them both on both islands, but so far. But where's the service? Well, mainly over there. Our service has me, and then it has another woman who works off island full time, and in another location as well as a member of another service. So it's really down to me, and suspending me means that there's no one 24 hours, 24/7 that's an EMT. So that was kind of a radical thing to do, but it was seen that it seemed okay to the people on the other island because they have their people there as in the service, and they can supposedly get over here in a boat if we have an emergency, which is not a true emergency. You can't have an emergency response when people have to arrive by boat and then taking us from here by boat over to the mainland. It's not ideal. So, and originally I wanted to become part of this service to help it, and so that we would have people here on our island in an emergency. So those are my reasons last year for getting on the service. When I got suspended because I spoke up, there was a policy that was created after the fact called the media policy, and there was some gobbledygook about not being able to talk about anything. And the reason I'm talking about this now is that I think that what I'm talking about with pedagogy and critical pedagogy and pedagogy of the oppressed and all that is persecution, is that when you have a situation like we have now, where people are being kept in line, kept from talking, kept from questioning, for some ramped up, trumped up, created ideas about what they can and can't talk about, what you're also doing, and then you line that up, double it up with the whole idea of putting a muzzle on, a mask muzzle, muzzling free speech. And then you put that together with a director who just recently got a huge pay raise, and in addition has now gotten some authorizations from the state operating through the Maine EMT service, through Atlantic Partners, which is a private service, through Island Institute, which is not a government entity, and now testing kits are available through these places, being filtered through them, with the idea that they're going to go to EMTs to administer testing kits. So now EMTs who we're not trained to do that sort of thing, which is not to say that we can't, but testing involves some concerns that are better addressed in a hospital setting. There's some delicate bones in the nose. If you puncture them, this is not a minor thing to happen, as I've spoken before about. And then we also, I just learned in the latest selectmen's meeting, is probably going to be a rollout here on the island somehow of by way of Hannah Pingree, and this came up in an Island Institute discussion, I guess. I wasn't there, but I heard about it. I have various friends that are involved in it from the other islands, and I found out that we'll also be supposedly administering vaccines. They're talking about EMTs doing that. And I spoke up, said why I refused the mask. I mentioned that I was not in favor of an unquestioning approach towards masks for all, without modifying it for different, needs and ages and whatnot, but just a generalized, mask mandate, universal, that was starting to roll out. And I saw that the concern I had, it starts there. But when you start controlling people and destabilizing them and creating chaos to the extent that this is happening now, and combining it with the economic, where you're refusing people a chance to practice and have their businesses and have their livelihoods, and massive insecurity, untold suffering, in the works here, people losing their homes, people not having the means to have a livelihood, and then putting masks on them and telling them they can't work, they can't leave their houses, the lockdowns. I mean, if people cannot see the writing on the wall, can I just spell it out? This mass persecution is on a worldwide level, and people are talking about it now openly as some sort of great reset and normalizing the ability. They're allowing themselves to talk about it as if it's okay, that massive amounts of people can be genocidally slaughtered for this idea that it'll be somehow more economically fair. These are not the discussions that oppressed people have. These are discussions held in back rooms with the elite who want to control their interests, control the populations, control. It's about a massive power grab, and when that happens, it's a free-for-all, and you'll see people on the local level, like I've seen, the rescue director taking unheard of powers into her hands with the idea that she'll be administering vaccines. She's decided she's going to be the one that's going to be doing the testing. She'll probably insist that she'll be doing the vaccines, creating comfort and security around her position, a lot of people, that are enthralled in her power domain. One person with breathtaking powers that people have just not even considered. They think it's great. She's done all this work and she seems so sweet and hardworking, and we just want to give her all of our power. This is an innocent appearing, but a horrific mentality behind it, that it doesn't matter who it is that's doing it. Whenever you abdicate to someone who's so eager to assume that level of mastery over other people, you must question it. So I did, and I've questioned, not her directly, not until now, not until this video, but I've questioned this kind of rollout of anybody that is got, power-mongering tendencies, also known as a bully, and that's that kind of a thing when you try to oppress other people and keep them from speaking. So what happened here is that after my videos, I got a notice from her that I was expelled from the service, and another notice sent with this media policy, which basically says you can't you can't look at porn on your videos, and which I don't, but who cares? If I did on my personal media, you can't post things on your Facebook page. You can't speak out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this is arbitrarily done because the other friend, her friend, who she appointed as co-director, has some pretty offensive, words used to describe people and to malign people. So it's a subjective. It's not an objective decision on her part. It doesn't make much sense, but the objective I see in it is clear. You will not speak against any policies that she's part of that will create more power and security for herself, and that's not what a town ought to do. It shouldn't empower people to be oppressive. It shouldn't empower people to not allow them critical faculties of concern, of questioning. My objecting, my objecting is necessary, just as anybody's is. If questioning isn't allowed or objecting to things isn't allowed, then you're destroying the educational system of this country, for one, but you're also destroying the citizenship rights of everyone in it. And of course I'm going to oppose that. I'm going to oppose it with every breath I take. And if anybody else thinks that's sort of, a minor thing, inconvenience, inconsequential, you're not really looking at what's going on. And you must look at your own reasons for denying that. Why are you so entranced with your viewpoint? Because is it comfortable because everybody else is saying it? Even though you don't think it's right, you're going to just silence yourself? That only works for so long. Eventually things reveal to be really bad, worse than you would want to think. And you don't, instead of taking responsibility for participating in that, you're just going to go along with the next thing that's Russia, or whatever's going to distract you and blame something else. But I'm saying right now, look at what you're doing. Look at how you're participating in this whole cacophony around COVID and the cages that they're putting us into, the pods, the masking, the muzzling of our people, of our children, of our old people, the keeping them from their last days as live, free people. What are you doing to promote that? How are you making it comfortable? Are you putting cute little masks on and selling them in your stores to make a profit? Are you doing that because you think it's cute? We can make this inconvenience as bearable as possible by making it sweet, nice, and cute. Well, it's not. Call it what it is. Call it a muzzle. Hannibal Lecter had one on him. It was made of leather. What do you think ours are going to end up looking like when the police want them to be more, rigid, more something they can grab onto, something like a handcuff, something that's going to constrain you, that's more substantial than a little tiny little slip over the ear thing. It's coming. The day is coming. It's coming fast. And when you see trends emerge, you must identify them and you must call them out. You must speak to it, or you're complicit. You're complicit. Martin Luther King said, the things that happen are when good men do nothing. That's when the worst happens. So don't do it. All right. Thank you.